Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0, ArrowFM, and MPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we've got Josh.
Hey.
So we've got TLC coming up this weekend, but there's a few things that don't tie into TLC. So we're gonna try and hit those off first. The first of which is the entire Seth Rollins saga.
Yeah, it's much to nobody's surprise. He's now turned to the dark side. He found those cookies.
About time, really, to be honest. Everyone saw it, as you say, coming. Teaming up with AOP. Quite obvious if you've been watching the past few weeks. And Seth Rollins does have a very big habit of surrounding himself with a couple of tougher guys, so it fits his patterns. What does it mean for Seth Rollins going forward? Well, that's a good question. Obviously, the immediate short term seems to be he's got to deal with Kevin Owens still.
Yeah, what can one say? That's definitely the direction they're going. Where they go after that, I have no idea. But, we've got something for AOP to do. We got something for Kevin Owens to do, and we've got something for Seth Rollins to do that's outside of the title.
Mm-hmm.
Because the title obviously isn't there.
Yeah. Yeah, when the title's not there, you gotta make high-profile feuds without it. And it feels as though this feud here between Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins is your main event feud. It's your number one. It would be the one for the title if the title was on, either of these guys. It's the feud right now on Raw. For the men. But we do have a few other feuds on Raw. And that will lead us into some TLC matches. The Kabuki Warriors, dating quite far back, but especially since Survivor Series, have made an enemy of Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I'm still ticked that they partnered her with Becky. There were so many women they could have paired her with for this match. And elevated that woman based on the fact that they were working with Charlotte. But no, they had to put Becky and Charlotte together. Because of course they did.
Yeah, to be fair, it was the option that everybody saw coming. It's just the option that nobody wanted. At Starrcade, we already saw the two of them team up. It seemed like it was going to be the obvious route. But as much as we were just talking about the men and how they're doing so well without a title and still being able to establish a top feud like that, we've now got our Raw Women's Champion being busy and involved with the Women's Tag Team Championship. So they are also a belt down on Raw.
Yeah, that's another reason. It's just... It's not a situation like with Brock just being gone half the time. Their women's champion is there every week. They could have her facing somebody and have two matches instead of having one.
Yeah, there was definitely options here, and I think that's probably the piece that, as you say, ticks me off the most, is the fact that we are sucking the Raw Women's Championship into this feud, just because that is one belt down. And all of Raw's women's division is currently focused on this match. Whether they're in the match or not, this is all that's going on in Raw's women's division. And this match is also, I see the stipulation sitting here, a TLC match. For whatever reason.
Well, let's see here. On Raw, Becky tried the 1-on-2 handicap match, and she won by disqualification because of the use of a ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, it was the use of a table.
Okay.
She was put through a table, and Charlotte said, "See what I meant? You can't do this alone." And she left the training area where Becky was banged up, got attacked with a chair, came back to the training area, and it's like, how about we do this together, but we raise the stakes with tables, ladders, and chairs.
Yeah, around TLC season, around December every year, attacks with chairs, tables, and ladders really go up. If I was an insurance salesman selling specifically insurance against foreign objects, I wouldn't cover December. It feels like, for the most part...
I wouldn't cover May either, because that's about when Extreme Rules occurs.
That's true. The 2 months you just don't even want to get there with a 50-foot barge pole. But yeah, it will be the Kabuki Warriors taking on Lynch and Flair. Who do you think walks out? Do you think we're going to walk out with Becky 2 belts again?
We might. And honestly, I wouldn't really have that big of an issue with it.
Okay.
Because I think Charlotte could do a lot of good things in the tag division. But as I said, it just bothers me that it's with Becky.
Mm-hmm. I'm fingers crossing that Kabuki Warriors win. I'm having a lot of fun watching them. Their sport's entertaining me thoroughly. And so there's someone that I want to keep seeing go around, and I worry if they lose the belts here that they are going to fade away and fall off into obscurity. Very much like the Iconics when they lost the belts. So I'm a little worried for them if they lose them.
Yeah, I guess that this is a serious issue, but just I don't know. It's the one title Charlotte has not owned in the WWE that she's eligible for.
Don't forget the 24/7 championship. Nobody counts that. Nobody counts that at all. Well, let's talk about the other women's match. Oh wait, there is none currently at the moment because we have to record before SmackDown. Let's instead talk about some of the other tag team matches. That's a better segue. The SmackDown Tag Team Championship will be on the line with the New Day takes on the Revival.
Okay. New Day wins, because I have no interest in this match.
We've only seen it like 1, 2, 70 million, 13. A lot of times.
Orton Cena times.
Yeah. It's kind of worrying if this is coming out as your tag team championship match out of your division. So many options, yet we end back on New Day and Revival once again. And instead, let's flip that on over to Raw, and let's look at their tag team division, because the Viking Raiders on Raw issued an open challenge that the Street Profits came out and accepted, and then got put on their back.
And apparently they were doing the same for the pay-per-view, too.
And then we get another open challenge at TLC.
And I've heard rumors that it might be the Usos that'll answer it.
I don't know how I feel. That silence is because I was thinking. Yeah, I don't know. Because that screams like the Usos would win.
No, it doesn't. Especially since they haven't been on television in months because of legal issues.
If you're telling me they can lose, then I'm in. I don't care who the Viking Raiders beat here, as long as the Viking Raiders beat whoever it is. That's all that matters to me.
I honestly believe that the team that probably will take the titles from them is AOP.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm scared of happening too soon. I think the Viking Raiders have them now, and they need to hold on to them for just a little bit longer. They need to establish themselves enough. Obviously, they've been beating a whole lot of local talent and all that, but let's get some real tag. I know they had the Street Profits this week, but let's get some real tag teams in front of them. Let's get the wins racked up, the names they've beaten up, and the Usos would help with that. Uso's big return match and the Viking Raiders still put them down, I'd definitely be down for that. I'm not losing faith in the Viking Raiders just yet. Plus, the Usos could bring Naomi along, and the Viking Raiders could then bring Sarah Logan along, and then Grady could be happy because it finally leads to Sarah Logan joining them. Totes gonna happen. We still got a little bit of time. Let's talk about the tables match for this pay-per-view. That is going to be Rusev versus Bobby Lashley.
The freshly divorced Rusev.
Yeah, the story continues. I don't know how much further we're going to take this story. I don't know, honestly, where we can actually go from where we are now. Obviously, the divorce happens. Don't know. Unless Bobby Lashley's going to get married to Lana in the middle of the ring.
I don't know. There was definitely a reference that he wanted to marry her. So, who knows?
Nobody knows, to be honest. As much as we look at these things and we're always like, wrestling's predictable, we'll guess this, and this. You don't expect the weird infidelity angle between Rusev and Bobby Lashley to be the angle that nobody can predict where it's going next. But in terms of their tables match, I'm gonna pick Rusev. The man's on a high right now, and I just have faith in him.
I'm going with Bobby Lashley.
One each way. Not often we disagree in predictions, but we will on this occasion.
Yeah, I feel like they want to build Lashley. I'm not sure to what, but I feel like they want to.
Okay.
So, I feel like that's a means to an end.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say this has done more for Rusev in the last 5 weeks than the last 5 years have.
Yeah. It's been good for him. Alrighty, let's go on into our entrance theme of the week. That is not quite an entrance theme, but it is a theme of sorts. The WWE TLC 2019 theme song, Do You Feel Me? And you're back with a Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh, and that was the theme for TLC 2019, which we are currently still talking about as we get to talk about the moody Aleister Black taking on the Buddy Murphy, the best kept secret.
This should be a really good match if they're given time.
Yeah, I'm going to be disappointed if these guys aren't given a solid, 10 to 12.
Yeah. They should be, Black's obviously going to win. Sorry, Grady.
Yeah, I know. But it's fine, because Black's awesome, my boy, so...
Yeah.
We good.
And in the end, it still showcases, Murphy, as long as it's not like a 5-minute squash.
Yeah, that's the worry, right? Is, as you say, Black's going over regardless, but just having enough time to showcase Buddy, which honestly he's been given a lot. Every time he's been given some time on Raw, on SmackDown, he's put on good matches. He's been given time to put on good matches, even if he's going over, under, left, right, or middle. So I'm just hoping here on the pay-per-view we're not rushed. We don't move them to the pre-show. And they're actually, as you say, given their time. Murphy gets some good hits in. Aleister Black walks home with the victory. Grady walks home happy. As two of his favorites put on an absolute banger.
In all honesty, probably want them on the pre-show, because that will give them more time.
That's true. At the moment... no matches on the pre-show, 7 announced. I'm sure SmackDown changes that up a little bit. But we'll have to wait and see. The number one match that I would see on the pre-show would be the Cruiserweight Championship, where Lio Rush actually just lost the belt about 2 hours ago. Over on NXT, Angel Garza submitted Leo Rush and is now our brand new Purple Belt champion.
Yeah, I think because of everything being done on NXT now, I don't think the Cruiserweight Championship will be defended on the pay-per-views unless it's NXT related or an NXT takeover.
Yeah, like Survivor Series made sense.
Yeah. So I think that takes away the pre-show match, guaranteed pre-show match.
Oh, but now we're not going to be able to predict as easily what's going to be on the pre-show. How is this possible?
And before it's the Raw Tag Team title match.
The Open Challenge, I think, will keep it around a little bit. I think the New Day will pull the SmackDown one over there. The women's tag is not going. The fact that Rusev and Bobby's a table match means it's not going. Miz and Wyatt isn't going. Corbin and Reigns isn't going. So the only one that actually could is Black and Murphy. Announced at the moment. The only one that could.
I'm almost certain that there have been individual stipulation matches that have been on the pre-show.
Probably. I just feel like Rusev and Bobby isn't going to be. But I'll go back on Wikipedia and prove you right. Yep, we had a ladders match between Elias and Bobby Lashley, ironically, in 2018 on the pre-show. Also had Buddy Murphy defending his Cruiserweight Championship. So yeah, the stipulation itself doesn't sort of prohibit it from being on the pre-show. But I just got a gut feeling that angle was big enough for it to not be. I've also gone all the way back, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the only times you've had a gimmick match on the pre-show. I can't scroll fast enough. I'm in 2012 at the moment. It has Ryback on the poster. I'm shooketh. 2011. TLC's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I think it started as a pay-per-view in 2010.
No, I've got 2009 now. There we go. 2009, first one. The pre-show match was R-Truth defeating CM Punk. That was actually a dark match. It was before pre-shows existed. A trip through memory lane over. Yeah, I think Black and Murphy of these 7 is what I could see moving to the pre-show, but we'll have to wait and see what SmackDown brings to the table in terms of filling out the card. I imagine we get maybe 2 more matches added. And then maybe an announcement day of, which is going to be on the pre-show. We've got 2 matches left to talk about. Do you want to talk about SmackDown, or do you want to talk about SmackDown?
I guess I'll talk about SmackDown.
That one has Bray Wyatt as Bray Wyatt taking on The Miz.
Oh, that should be interesting. That'd be an interesting way to move the title off of The Fiend, is to have it revealed that Bray's actually the weak link.
Mm-hmm.
And that Bray's the one that loses the title and not The Fiend, but that's not going to happen here.
Yeah, that's the interesting part, because they've definitely leaned into the fact that this is Bray versus The Miz. This isn't The Fiend versus The Miz. Bray Wyatt, the first time he's sort of taken some really aggressive action out as himself, he's been getting a lot more psychological. You know, The Fiend was real, like, scary and unstoppable, and the Bray Wyatt part is getting real psychological. He's getting real tormenty. And yeah, as you say, technically they're both champion, but I think if Bray Wyatt / The Fiend is to lose the title, it will probably be a loss by Bray Wyatt. This match might show us that he's not as unstoppable as The Fiend, but it is a non-title match.
I thought I heard it was a title match.
I'm seeing singles match written here. I can double check on WWE.com. It is Universal Champion Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. I believe it is non-title.
Well, I guess we'll find out more about that on Friday after we recorded this.
Not the handiest point in the world, but presuming it will be a non-title match, I think Bray will probably still walk out with the win, but he will definitely be highlighted as being weaker than The Fiend.
Yeah.
I think The Miz has got it in his head that he's he's going up against, he's seen the matches with The Fiend, and he's got that in his head. So that might throw him off psychologically, but if anything, this has got to be highlighting that Bray Wyatt is weak, or mortal, at least. And I could see it evolving into the sort of way where Finn Balor had the Demon, where the Demon lost once?
Yeah, that was only on NXT, and that, since it's not been done on the main roster, it technically doesn't exist.
That's true. But I could see it in that way, where the Demon is just so much stronger, much like the Fiend. Obviously, the Fiend, I would say, is stronger than the Demon. This is really weird wrestling talk. But just where the human form, if that person is used. This discussion is out of context. Sounds like we're talking about an episode of Supernatural or something. Bray Wyatt being mortal and being able to take losses while the Fiend is pulled out when I guess he gets real aggressive, or there's some sort of trigger that takes place. Alrighty, do you want to talk about SmackDown now then?
Yeah, or we could talk about SmackDown.
Yeah, let's talk about SmackDown. And we have another TLC match between King Corbin and Mr. Dogfood. To explain that, Corbin and the boys ended up throwing a bunch of dog food all over Roman Reigns. That's all the context I'm going to give those comments.
Yeah, which irritated the internet, but they're saving their voice, so to speak, loved the segment.
I would love it if Punk came out, like 5 years down the line, was like, I just went against what the internet said every time just for poops and gigs. It would be amazing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm indifferent to the segment. Sports entertainment is sports entertainment. And I also don't care how CM Punk received a segment. I have a brain, and I'm going to use that to think for myself.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a 1-2 punch to the internet. Sorry for anyone on the internet listening to this. But getting to the match itself, King Corbin taking on Roman Reigns. Who's going to walk out of TLC with the victory?
I think King Corbin.
Okay.
I think solely because the stipulations allow for shenanigans to occur.
Oh, those damn shenanigans. The shenanigans have got a little bit more complicated, though. Because obviously, Corbin's boys, Ziggler and Rude, one half of them won't be interfering.
Yeah.
So he's down to just a boy.
That we know of.
That is true. Maybe he has more. Who are you picking to be in King Corbin's court?
Who knows? Maybe he'll join Sami Zayn's talent agency.
Ooh. Oh, you sent shivers down my spine here. Yeah, I don't know. There's a few options. Maybe it will be just Ziggler. Maybe he only needs one more guy. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm with you on this. I think King Corbin walks out with the win from that match. Alrighty, is there anything else you want to talk about, or do you want to make a wild prediction for TLC? Something insane.
We will have a unannounced Intercontinental Championship match, and the title will change hands.
Okay. Unannounced, does that count announced on SmackDown?
It would, well, as of right now, it's unannounced.
Yep. Fair enough. I'm going to go with the Viking Raiders Open Challenge being answered by the Midnight Express. There we go. One of those is a lot more likely to be done than the other one. But that is all we have time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye, B.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRadio, Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRadio, and we'll see you next week with the results from Tables, Ladders, and Chairs.